in the last video, that was our just the project overview of this job. We talked about what's going to happen in this renovation, and I said I'll see you tomorrow. Well, this is a few days later. We got a lot of work, a lot of preparation to do, but I'm going to show you some of the stuff that we're up to. This, we have a piece of cabinetry that's going to end up going here, and we have this bench, a nice that looks out their window. They have this Cat 5. That's or Cat 7, whatever it is, that's running up out of their, out of their basement. And what are we going to do to, make this, we want to get a device box in here and make it symmetrical with the other device box that's going to be coming out of the back of the cabinet. And so you would, I can't tell you how many times I've seen this too, where somebody will just go ahead and take a measurement there, and that's, what is that? That's 41.5 inches. And then come over here, take their 41.5 inches and transcribe it. But you can see that at 41.5 inches, we're actually a quarter inch off. That's because this whole floor is sloped overall a couple of inches. So you can't just assume that the measurement here will be the same measurement over here and over here. So, oh hey Tom. Anyways, I just we wanted to install a device box here for some for a plug, and this is what I like about this 1 5/8" steel stud, because the track just fits a 2x4 perfectly. And I'm going to take a second before I show you this. Just a few seconds ago, we were interrupted by one of the fellas there. I was just talking about getting the symmetry proper with for an octagon, device box for some Cat 7 and another device box for some electrical. And how do we transcribe that height over to this bulkhead that we built to bury some wires and to accommodate a cabinet, a future cabinet that's going to be built. So it's not good enough to take a measurement from the floor to the bottom of that device box, and you can see that that's about a 41 3/8. This floor is overall out about 2 inches. So that 41 3/8, if I were to bring that over to here, you'd see that I would be off by an eighth, maybe even a quarter inch, and then it's off even more over here. I think it's off about 3/8 of an inch over here, if I were to measure from the floor. So what I did is I use, levels are your best friend. And I got a beef with DeWalt levels, by the way. I cannot stand this little contour on their levels. I would prefer it just square. In fact, I don't even know why I'm still using this level. I complain about it every single time I grab it. Because, I'll tell you why, I'm going to put this right underneath of there. In order for me to transcribe the proper height from here to here, I need to level that out, and then I need to take my mark here, and you can't, because this little butt end has that, it doesn't go square. So anyways, I manage, but I literally took my level line from there, transcribe it over here, switch to my other DeWalt level that I have a beef with, put it on there, transcribe it over to here, transcribe it over to here, level it all out, and then that gives me my proper heights, and I know exactly where those device boxes are going to end up, and standing back, they'll be completely symmetrical after the renovation is done. So I marked my level lines. I put a little check mark on top to remind myself that that's the bottom. The device box is going to sit on the bottom of this 2x4, or the top, either one. But this stud is completely in the way. So we're going to remove this stud. we probably don't even need that stud because this will be just fine. And I'm going to fasten the device box bottom up. So before I do that, I'm using number 2 square or Robinson bits. But I'm going to switch to a number 2 Phillips. And you know, on these bits, you know, I really like these Milwaukee 3.5-inch bits. They seem to do a good job. They hold up well. They're pretty abusive with our equipment. And then I'm going to put it in with some drywall screws. So I'm just going to make sure that's down to the bottom. There. I'll put a couple more in. You know, if you give it a little tap, that won't happen. Anyway, now when we go to install our device boxes, everything will be perfectly symmetrical, and you'll have a nice finished result at the end. So anyways, that's not what we were here to talk about today. We're going to get ready to drywall this kitchen today. And so I think the last time you didn't see the all the framing that we did, the ceiling grid. So we have this 1 5/8 steel stud and track, and we made basically all these short walls, and then we ran this steel furring strips or hat channel across every. It's actually a little bit larger than 16 on center, but not much. And since I'm pointing up here, something to consider, and what we do is anytime we have metal touching metal, we put a little piece of insulation in. And you'll see some other examples of that over here. If you look close, anytime we have this, you know, this copper pipe that's a little too close to the metal framing, we put a little piece of insulation in. We don't want to risk any future corrosion, or, you know, it would be horrible to once. So this ducting right here, this is for their future. Cooking exhaust. They're going to have this big commercial cooking exhaust system here, and if that fan in there started to rattle a little bit, it would be pretty obnoxious to have it rattle against some steel framing until it was replaced or fixed or something. So a little insulation goes a long way, I guess. So something else that we have to consider is we're using 1/2-inch drywall to replace 3/4-inch plaster walls that were once upon a time. So what we did was we took some 1/4-inch drywall and we cut it up, and we're using it as furring strips to fur this out. And I'm using 3/4-inch drywall. I'm sorry, 1/4-inch drywall, just because it's a true 1/4-inch, and it works perfect, and you don't need anything more than that. And then we're going to go 1/2 inch over top of that, and this resolves a lot of other little nuances that, you know, if we have this chunk of wood that's sticking out a little farther, you know, so that kind of fix that. We got some under cabinet lighting that we have to consider. We're going to have all that coming out of the drywall. Something else that I actually see a lot of when a kitchen is finished, sometimes the lighting over top of maybe this island that's going to be here is not on center. Maybe it's just off a little bit here or there. That's because during construction, you don't know truly where the island is going to end up. So what we did was we put this plywood up here, this 3/4-inch plywood, side to side, kind of dropped it plumb, so I know approximately where where the light's going to be, but we don't know that for certain. And then we're going to leave this wire hang up in this cavity. And I had this discussion with the electrician already. And when the electrician comes back, when the ceiling's all done and painted and beautiful, and the island is in, then he can take his measurement, cut his hole for his light gently, and grab that wire and pull it down, and it'll be perfectly centered over top of the island. And that's how we're going to accomplish that. Other than that, I think we're pretty much ready to start installing drywall. Another thing to consider is this wall over here. So we're not quite, to tell the truth, we're not quite ready there. So they have their existing walls, their overall wall thickness, including the plaster work, is 5 3/8 inches. And these walls are just over 3.5 inches. So we want our finished wall to also be about 5 3/8. Our finished walls are going to be about 5.5 inches. So we're furring out this one side 1/4 inch, and I'm going to add an additional half. This side is going to be 1/2 inch drywall. This side is going to be double 1/2 inch drywall. So we're going to have another 1.5 inches of drywall on top of the 1/4 inch, and that's going to give us this 5.5 inches overall, and it'll be symmetrical with the rest of their carpentry work, I suppose, when they're all done. And this is all going to be trimmed out with trim board, and we're not carpenters, so we're not doing that fine work. But somebody else is. It's our job to make sure that they have something good and proper to work off of. And just like the roof carpenters, they need to make sure that we have something good and proper to work off of. Although we're doing a lot of rough carpentry here. Anyways, so I think we're ready to get going with the drywall. And so give us a few minutes. We're going to start setting up for that, and we'll get back in. This whole home is askew. None of these corners are 90 degrees, so we need to consider that when we're installing the drywall. Otherwise, if we don't, we're gonna have all kinds of filling we do before we tape it up. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to fill, or as little as possible. So in this particular case, I'm actually gonna start hanging the drywall in the center of the room. And most of the time, we're not doing that. Most of the time, we're starting off of the squarest wall and working our way to the other side of the room. But because we have missing track here, this ducting was just too low, and we're trying to keep everything as high as possible. And so we just don't have enough room to get any furring strip underneath of this. So we are going to And this is acceptable. That's an acceptable distance to have 1/2 inch drywall float, basically. So we're gonna have, start right in the center, and we're gonna install one 12-foot sheet of 1/2 inch drywall, starting this side of the room, making sure we encompass all that missing track to be as strong as possible, and we don't have any flat joints landing on an area where there isn't any backer to tie them together. So we'll get going with that drywall, and we'll see you then.